Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away. We haven't seen this in over half a year. 6 months this has been since I last did this. As you can see, I've got the Back to the Future DeLorean up here. I'm going to be doing stages 77 to 86. That's 2 backs, so 10 stages together of the fan home release of Build the Back to the Future DeLorean.
Are we back? We're back.
You know what? I watched Back to the Future on Saturday this week because it's back in the cinemas. It's 40 years old now. So I thought, you know what? I haven't been on this for ages, so I'm going to do a couple of legacy builds this week. So definitely going to start with the DeLorean looking like that. Now, just to let you know, we have done all the internals. We left it by doing the external part, and we basically put the doors on. Now, this body isn't actually attached to the internals at the moment. It's just put on top just for storage. So I am going to be building on that today. Now, I don't think this is still available in the UK, but in the US it still is. So I am going to still keep my links that you see down there on my channel. It's also in the video description as well, so you can see if this is available in your territory. But let's get on with all 10 stages here. So without further ado, let's get cracking. So just to show you this, look, the top just comes off at the moment because it's not actually been put on at the moment. I don't actually need this part of the car, so I can put that to one side. And here is stage 77. As you can see, we've got a little bit more of the bodywork that's going to go on the back, and we're going to be putting a vent into place. So this is a nice quick stage, and this is the rest of the magazine. Excellent. And here is stage 77. So this is going to be quite a quick issue to do, I think. As you can see, we've only got 2 things to put together. Bodywork looking lovely with that brushed metal look there. And all I'm going to do is put this little vent into place just here. And I've got some AP screws which are going to hold that in from the other side. So one there and one there. With that done, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 78, here in the instructions, a little bit more to do in here. We've also got the brackets here, which are going to be, I believe, for the flux bands. But putting these into place just on that, a lot of detailing going on here. And then we're going to attach this to the main bodywork, so it's looking just like that at the end. And again, this is the rest of the magazine. So little tiny parts here for stage 78. Let's get these out. Bring over this back section here, and the first thing we want to put on is a little bit of trim that's going to go in here. Now that looks like that. It's just a case of putting this in so the slants match each side there, and I'm holding that in with AP screws. You know what, it actually feels really good to be getting back to this. I haven't put a mat down because I am just trying to keep it off my work surface here, but just laying it on the work surface isn't going to scratch it. It's the moving around that scratches it. Perfect. And then on this side here, I've got a little piece to put in, which looks just like this. That's going to go in there. Once again, that's held in with 2 AP screws, just from the back here. Excellent. And then I've got this red lens to go in, just right at the back there. Now I just want to see if there's a different way this needs to go in. So I'm trying it both ways. I think it fits better that way round. So I'm putting that in just there. This time it's held in with IP screws. These are a little bit shorter than the ones we just had, but they are going in 2 different places again. One here and one at the other side. And then in the bag here, I've got the tiniest little bit of trim looking like that. It is actually just a square bit of trim. So again, just checking if there is a better way for it to go in. Try it the other way. Oh no, that's awful. It can only go in one way. And once again, one of those small IP screws just to hold that little back section in there. Now we're going to start putting these brackets in here. So what I need is the bracket that's labelled R5. So that one's R1. That one's R5, so I need that one there. That one's RL2, RL4, and RL3. So RL5 is this one here, which must stand for rear left 5, I'm guessing. AP screw here. Put the lug in the furthest hole so that this one could go in the center, and then that's going to look just like that. Okay, I need RL2 now, which is going to go into this one here with the lug on the bottom hole. So that's seated there, and again AP screw to hold that in. Actually pushing this down with my finger there. That should hopefully line that up perfectly. That one's in. Then I want RL3 next to it. It's going to go in there. AP screw just in there. Lovely. And then RL4 is just going to go there, with the lug going into the very left hole. So check that it looks exactly like that. That shouldn't be going anywhere near this trim here, but that's those 4 in place. Now we do have a bracket to go in here, which looks like this, but I do need to put a bracket on here, this one here, which is labelled RL1. It's just going to go in here, and I'm holding that in from the other side with an LP screw. Slightly different from the APs we have been using. This LP screw is a little bit longer. There we go, that's in nice and tight. That'll enable me to put that in the bracket just there, like that. Then I can hold that bracket in from the other side with these AP screws again. And we need 2 of these. And now I'm going to open these DM screws here because I'm about to put this on the body, which I have brought up here. Just like this. I do want to just move this tape I've got on the door now. That just stopped the door opening, because this is going to be going into position just on here. Fits lovely and flush on there. So I may as well now put that tape back on with that panel on, because I don't want the door opening yet. And I'm holding it in from the inside with DM screws. I've got my PH1 screwdriver here. And you do want to make sure this is screwed in as tight as humanly possible, which does mean I need to turn it upside down. So that means I'm going to put it on my soft mat here. Okay, so hopefully you can see this on one of the cameras. The first screw I'm going to be putting in is just going in to this position just here. So this is a DM screw. I have put this in oil, and I am putting this in as tight as I can get it. Excellent. Let's get a bit of oil. I'm going to be dropping the next one just into the position here. And again, trying to get that as tight as I can get it. And then I've just got the 2 at the back here. So one here. And finally, one just down the bottom here. Oil and PH1 screwdriver, definitely your friend here. Excellent. So with that in place, it should look just like that. Even though that's upside down, that's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 79, I've got a funny feeling we're doing the other side. Yep, exactly the same thing now. With that side, just putting the vent in there. This is the rest of the magazine. This will be a nice quick stage. And we're just going to pretty much mirror everything we just did. So 2 AP screws to hold that part in there. That's got to be one of the quickest stages known on any build to do. So that's the vent in there. In stage 80, here's the instructions. And again, we've got all of the trim to put on that panel. And then we're going to mount this to the car as well. This is the rest of the magazine. And here's all of those little tiny details for stage 80. And because I'm doing 10 stages together, I'm just going to whiz through it now. So we've got this bigger piece here going in here, held with AP screws from the other side. Then I've got this small piece just going in here. And again, that's held in with 2 AP screws. Then this red lensed piece, which again, I'm going to just see, I can tell straight away that's going to go fine that way round. That's held in with IP screws. And then finally, in the little tiny bag here, I've got this last piece, which only seems to be able to go in one way. So let me just try and get that in. Not that way. Oh, actually, it might be. It is that way. There we go. That little piece is in there. And again, that's held in with just one of the small IP screws. Now, we're going to be putting these brackets on. So I've got R3 in my hand here. That's going to go into that position there. Then I've got R5. The R5 one is going down the bottom just here. I've got R4, which is going there. R2, not the droid, which is going in there. Perfect. And then once again, I've got this bracket here, which is going to have R1 just fixed into place there. This time that's fixed with the LP screw that I've got here, which is the longer screw. See, such an enjoyable phase. You do it twice. And then this can go in here. It's held in with AP screws from the other side. So that is how that's looking. Let's tidy up the workstation again and get our DM screws at the ready with the map, because this time this is going to be going onto this side here. Making sure that this here fits under the lip here. I'm going to turn it around so I can actually see what I'm doing. Does help. There you go. Lovely. Once again, I will just hold that in place to the door here, so that when I turn it upside down, it's not going to fall off. And then once again, 4 DM screws to put this into place. This one down the bottom, I have to stand up for. It's probably the hardest one to get in. But again, that PH1 screwdriver does make short work of that. Excellent. With that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage, and that is how that is looking at the moment. Okay, in stage 81, we're now starting the part that's going to go on the back, which is going to house the fusion reactor. So obviously, this is the part that's eventually going to hide the whole engine that we did. And this is the rest of the magazine. And here you go. Here's all the parts for that. Once again, I can tell you straight away, this is metal, very heavy. Let's get all of the little bits out. And the first thing I want to do is I want to take this panel here. It is symmetrical, but I'm going to be putting this grill on top. So the grill's just going to be going into the holes here and here in the center. So this is going to actually fit in the center here. Now the holes are slightly different sizes, so if it's not fitting one way, turn around the black section to make that the right way around, because the hole is larger on this side than this side here. Now once we've done that, we can actually put this top panel in. Top panel's going in this way here, so it's kind of like the opposite way. It's going to fit in just like that. And then bringing over this panel here, we're going to be putting this into place. So we've got quite a few lugs in here, but it pushes into the points just here, so it's sitting nice and flush in there. I don't know whether I should be gluing that. I'm going to leave it the way it is at the moment. Then I've got this detail here, which is going to go into the side. Now this is actually going to be tilting off into this direction over here, and it's held in with AP screws. I need 2 of those just at the bottom here. With that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. You've got to love a marathon build, don't you? Stage 82. Oh, look at all the fiddly bits in this. Okay, we're going to be doing these capacitors now by the look of it. I think that's what they are. Putting these into place like that. making them nice and neat. This is really where the detail's coming in on this model. And wow, we've got a lot more to do in that one as well. Yeah, you know what? I actually forgot about these bits. I know I'm going to need my magnifying glasses for this though. Okay, bring over this section here, and we've got these little parts here to put in first. So there's one. They have got locating lugs on them, just on the bottom, so it'll only let you put them in one way. There we go. 3 of them. Going to go in just like that. They're all held in with AP screws from the other side. I can hold 2 with my hands before they all fall out. And then behind it, again, we've got a locating lug on these. We're going to be putting these larger capacitors. Now, these are held in with BP screws, which I've got here. And there's 3 of these to put in. I'll just switch this up to my PH1 screwdriver just to get these tighter. Excellent. So that is how that's looking. Okay, this is where I'm going to need this. So the wires are the same length, but they are different colours. And I do need these MP screws, which are absolutely tiny. So this is where I am going to just switch it up a bit. And I'm going to take out my blade from my Metmo screwdriver here and put in my PH000. But 000? PH00, which is really tiny. Okay, I need the red and yellow one first. I'm going to be putting that into this very left one over here with one of these screws. Now make sure all of these connectors all go off in the same direction, because now I'm going to be training this wire around. So I want this to go down here, and then it's going to run along this channel just there. Now it looks like at the moment they just want us to lie these cables down. I'm not quite sure where they're going yet, but the next one I'm going to be putting in is exactly the same. It's this red and yellow, but on the next one down. And then finally, I'm going to be putting one on this one. So let me do these 2 here next. So the detail I'm looking for, just so you know, again, is all these connectors are going off in the same direction. So it's following the direction of the other 3. So that's the first ones in. Now the second ones are the blue and red. They're going to be going all the way down this side here into the middle hole. Again, following this down here. And I'll continue doing that for the rest of them. Now if you really want to get your detail right, then have not only them all facing the same way, but have the connectors all round the same way as well, which I've got a couple the other way round, so I'm actually changing them to make sure they are all the same way round. So that means the last ones to go in are the blue and yellow ones. They're following the exact same way as these here. And then they're actually having these, even though I've got them running off in this direction, they need to be going back on themselves. I wish they would have told me that at the start. So let's just get all of these together. And you know, I've got 2 daughters, so it's like plaiting hair this is going to be. So they can go down there. These ones here can go this way. And then finally, these ones here can go in there. Lovely. And then when I'm happy with how they are, fold all of these cables underneath. As you can see, we can see them all underneath here. And they're going to go between this connector point here. And I do have a connector joint to put in. The end with the lug on goes into the larger hole. And I do need to have an AM screw just at the ready here, so I can screw that in. There you go, that's in nice and tight. It's holding those wires in. That looks pretty neat. Excellent. Okay, all I've got then is I've got this connector then going to be going in. There's a hole just here. I want that to go towards the back as well. So when I put this in, it's going to go in this way. I'm just twisting it in, so I'm not putting too much pressure on. And with that done, that's all there is to do in that very detailed stage. Okay, in stage 83, Here's the instructions. A lot of details again going in here, looking just like this. Really bulking this area up now. Here you go. Here's all the parts for stage 83. And once again, lots of extreme detail here. So we've got some grills and we've got these silver sections here. What I need to do is match off the holes of this metal section over the plastic section just here. Now I'm going to be putting 2 MP screws in to hold that into place, but what I need to do is wrap this around here. Now the best way to do that is not actually on here, is to actually create a former. So I'm going to use my scalpel here just to get that in a sort of round shape for me, just like that. That's going to make things a little bit easier for me. Get an MP screw out. I better take this blade out and put that PH00 in, because I am going to be using the same screws as last time, the really tiny ones. And trust me, having that bent now is definitely going to make my life easier. So I'll load one up. There we go. Put this over here, and what I'm trying to do is line up the holes on each side, just like that. Once I've got one screw in here, it's going to hold that into place. Let's put the other one in as well. Definitely helps having magnifying glasses and the right screwdriver here. And that is how that should look. Now we actually need to do that twice, because we've got another one here. So once again, I'll just show you that wasn't a fluke. I'm using my little former here. Anything that's round that's going to be able to bend that metal for you. Just like that. Then I can put this over here, load up a screw, and then put a screw through. Now these are going to be going onto this base here, and they do have a keyhole pattern at the bottom, so they can only go in one way. They're being held in from the other side just with some AP screws, which I've got in this bag. So get one in here. Probably going to need my smaller screwdriver to get that all the way in. There we go. And just put the other one in as well, matching up that keyhole pattern. And then an AP screw through the top. Okay, we're just going to be taking this then. Having the screws on the inside here, I want that just to go in there like that. I'm holding that in once again with an AP screw just from the other side. One screw, just going to keep this in. That's good. Then I've got some more capacitors here, which are going to go into this one here. Again, the located lugs at the bottom are going to dictate which way round that goes. And once again, that's held in with an AP screw. And now I've got these red wires to put in the capacitors. So this is going to be interesting. Once again, I need the little MP screws. They're going to go into the capacitors here. And again, I want this to be the same way round on each one. Let's put them this way round. I want the connectors all to be facing the same way, you see. Again, this one's going in here. And I want both of these wires here to be going into the hole that I've got next to this silver section just here. So they're going to be going down here, just out the bottom. But I do want them to run alongside this section. So these need to be actually facing down. So if I can have these, let's get this sorted, pointing down there, then they're going off in that direction. That's good. Now I can straighten them out afterwards, but that's how that's looking. I'm going to do exactly the same with the two that I've got left here. And again, I'm just going to straighten these out so they are all going down. And once again, these wires are going to go through this hole here. Now eventually, there's going to be quite a few wires going through here, so I want to make sure I've got them sort of like uniform now. That looks good. It's probably best to actually twist these, just to stop them going anywhere. But there you go. That's how that's looking. And then I've got all of these wires here, which are all wrapped up together. I need to get this into the hole as well, with all the other wires there. perfect. Only enough to be able to come out the other side just here, because I'm going to be putting all of these wires now into that cavity just there, just like last time. And I do have a clip which I'm going to put into place with an AM screw to hold that into place. That's good. Now I could probably trim this wires. I'm not going to do that at this time. I'm more interested in just getting the detail right on the top first. Now these wires here are actually going to be going off in this direction. So I've got a bracket to put just over this section here. Just like that. And that's held in with 2 AM screws from the top. So one there. And one just there. That's good. Might as well just wrap that in a little circle so it doesn't get in the way at the moment. I've now got a pipe here, which is just going to follow the holes that I've got in the side. So I need to just push that into place. There you go. That's going to hold itself in there like that. And then finally I've got these 2 sections here. I don't know what these are. I want to make sure that this side is facing down, because this is going to be going into the top here, just like that. And then this whole thing is actually going to go onto the 2 holes there. We do have a locating lug there. So it's a case of lining that up, getting that in there. And then I want these AP screws to hold that in from the other side. Just one in the bottom there as well. Excellent. And then this is where we are going to be doing something with this wire. So this wire here needs to go, let me figure this out, around the silver capacitor there, around this section, underneath these, I don't know what they are, but underneath them, just like that, around this section, over the top. But with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. Now that was a big stage. Let's see what stage 84 holds for us. Lots of work again going into this. That's looking just like that here. We're building up on this fusion reactor bay here. So let's get this all open. This is stage 84. And the first thing I need is this part of the frame that looks like that. I've got a couple of brackets to put into here. Now they do have keyhole patterns just on one of the lugs, so they can only go in one way. So one's going to go in there, and then the other one here is going to go into here. They're held in with AP screws from the other side, and each bracket takes 2 of these AP screws. So that's in like that. Then I'm going to be taking this, is it a washer bottle? We're going to be putting these 2 parts together just like that to make one big reservoir. Again, AP screw into the hole here to hold that together. There's actually 2 AP screws to put in here, one this side and one the other side. I've got the cap for this reservoir is just going to go into the top now, like that. And then this whole thing is actually going to be fitting on the bracket that I just put in here. So make sure it's round the right way, this way round. This is just going to be going on top like that. Again, AP screws to hold this into place. Now, the next thing I'm going to be putting in is kind of like a sway bar. I don't know if it is, but it needs to be this way round so that this side here is facing down. That's going to be going just into the hole just there. And again, it's held in with an AP screw. That has just put that part into place. And then finally, I've got this part here to go in. And it's actually going to be having a slot here just pushed into the slot there. So that's looking like that. I can put that just to one side now and bring over what we were creating here. And I can turn this upside down now. Probably best now to make the decision to actually cut some of this excess here. Now I'm not going to use sprue cutters or anything because I'll probably blunt them. So what I am going to do is just use these really heavy duty scissors, which is going to make short work of that. Okay, so as you see, I've trimmed those 2 now because I'm going to be taking this section here I'm going to start building the frame in the inside. So this is going to be going on here, and I'm holding that in with DM screws. Now when you screw this in, you don't want to press too hard down on that, because obviously you've got all of those details I've just been putting in on the other side. I've then got this part of the frame, which is going to be going onto this side here. See, that's fallen out. I might have to glue that in. That's perfect. And then finally, I'm going to be putting the side we've just created in. That's going to be going on this side here. And again, DM screws to hold that in. So that's good. I want to be putting some screws just through this side here. And these are AP screws. And I need 2 of those. One here. And one just down there. Excellent. And then have another AP screw loaded up, because I've just got to put that sway bar in. Just onto, just try and get it so you can see on camera, just onto this side here. Match up the hole. And screw that in as well. Excellent. So that is how that should look. Now, this part here that keeps falling out, it goes in this way. I am going to just drop a tiny bit of glue onto the bottom lugs here. But that's all there is to do in that stage. So the penultimate stage of this little marathon session we're doing at the moment, stage 85, looks like this. And again, we're adding some parts to the part we put just in there. And we are actually going to start installing this into the car, as you can see. And this is the rest of the magazine. So here is stage 85, a big chunk of metal in here, as you can see. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking these 2 little details here. I'm going to be putting these together. So they actually go in this way. Oops, turn that over so you can see that side. So they look just like that. Now I do think this is part of the light. So this is actually just going to be going into this section here. And it's held in from the other side with 2 AP screws. So once you've got one in, pretty easy to get the other one in, just lining the holes up. Bringing over this section again. And this is actually going to be going onto these points just here. So I want it this way round. As you can see, this is going to slot over the 2 lugs either side, like that. Perfect. They're held in with DP screws. And as you saw, I've got 2 each side, so 4 in total. This is my PH1 screwdriver here. And then once again, I've got these DM screws, because I do need to turn this upside down here and put one just in this side here. And then one in the other side as well. And now I've got this great big bulkhead to put in. If you look on the underside, it's pretty easy to see how this goes. It's going to fit over just like this. And there is some locating lugs just in the centre there. I'm holding all of these in with DM screws. Probably best to put the centre one in first. And then I can put the other 2 in here. Turn this back over, and this pipe that I've got coming from here is now going to be going into the hole. Let me get my tweezers out here. Into this bulkhead I've just put in. It's going to go in here. And there you go. So that's in like that. And now I'm just going to make room. This is going to be pretty iconic part of the build. Bring up this bodywork again. I want to turn this upside down. I want to ensure that all of these cables are going off in this direction, because it's this area here that I'm going to be working on. I'm putting this into place here. Make sure it's the right way round. So for me, it's going to be upside down until I've got this in. It's going to be fitting over the top here, so that it's lining up with the lugs either side, or the holes either side there. And then I need these DM screws to screw that into place. So it's 2 each side. I'll put in the 2 on the other side. And then there's just 2 at the back here. I don't know if you can see that on one of the cameras. Just get one in this side. And then I need to put one in the other side there. That's good. And the last 2 I'm putting in are just on this silver firewall or bulkhead that I put in. Just down here. One there. And one the other side. Now this is something that I really love about this build. That obviously you don't get to see how that looks until you turn it over. But check that out. And that is all there is to do in that stage. So here you go, the last stage I'm doing today. That's 10 stages in total. We've got the headliner that I'm going to do here. So I'm just putting some of the lights into the headliner, some of the electrics as well. We don't actually put this into the car though. This is the rest of the magazine. So here you go, here's everything in this stage. And the first thing I'm going to be doing is putting this silver box into place. It's actually going to go right into the position here. It's held in from the other side with a BP screw. And then I've got this whole section here, which has already got electrics in for us, which is really good. What we're going to do is put the plug through this side here, all the way through. So then I can actually put this into place just on top. And again, there is a locating lug, so it can only fit one way round on here. And again, I'm holding that in with a BP screw as well. Through that center hole there. Use my PH1 screwdriver. Excellent. I've got a lens here, which is going to be going into this section here. Now, this is a clear lens. I want the tab to be facing in this direction. It's got a little tab on it. Then I want to hold that in place by putting this lens holder or this LED holder just in there, because obviously that's going to be able to light up. I do want it that way round. I'm going to hold that in just with some AP screws. Again, you don't want to press too hard on this. But this is eventually going to be the headlining for the interior of that bodywork. But with this screw just going in here, that is actually all we have to do in this stage. That's all we're going to be doing in those 2 packs. So what I am going to do to store this away is I'm going to bring up this section here, and I'm actually going to put the bodywork on top of it. Now, we're not connecting any wires up, so putting the top on shouldn't be too hard. Let's just get this round the right way. And just give you an idea of how this is going to go on here. Just best to put the back on first, I find. There we go. And that is how that's looking. So, give you an idea of how the DeLorean is looking at the moment. Nice. I'm not taking any of those painter's tape off at the moment because they're just keeping everything closed. But there you go, marathon build. Recording time for this was 1 hour 35 minutes. I don't know what I said it's down to, but I really hope you like that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Yeah, I've drawn blood again, so I'll just knock my fingers. That's going to have to go back to 0. Not good. Anyway, take care.